Well, all right, folks. It is going to be another day of domestic activity here at the Who Buddy headquarters, where I attempt to take the Sprinter van and get it ready to list. I picked this up last year at the Tampa machinery auction. It is a 2014 Mercedes 2500 Sprinter van. It's the passenger version. The thing is absolutely monstrous. It's got all the seats and stuff in the back. It's got the AC for all the passengers. I've replaced the headliner in it. I'm going to be fixing the rest of the headliner in there. Just got the clips from O'Reilly's. Getting ready to clean up the front and the inside, wash the outside, and then try to get everything listed. So why am I getting rid of it? You know, this is the main question here. So I picked this up last year at the Tampa machinery auction. I probably should have done a little bit more research on it. It does have some issues with it, but I'm just going to sell it for what I've got in it so I can pass along to somebody that's got a little bit more time, a little bit more experience, and a little bit more knowledge in fixing some of the stuff going on with it. So this one here has got the diesel engine with it. It's got some of the diesel particulate filter and some of the issues that are associated with that. So that needs to be addressed. This pretty high miles. The person that had this before me used it pretty extensively over those 4 years. Got roughly about 300,000 miles on it, which is for 2014 is insane. But it still drives really well. Still has, has some things, some issues with it. But hey, it's an auction vehicle, so the price will reflect the condition that it's in. And I'm not trying to pull anything over on anybody. I'm just trying to get some money out so I can go off. And I need to buy something a little bit more reliable because I do a lot of reselling and pick up items up in Kentucky, where I'm from, then bring them back down here to actually resell. So speaking of reselling, I got somebody that just showed up to buy something. So I'm gonna make a quick deal and I'll be right back with you. All right, deal has been made. We're now going to go into the internal portions of the Who Buddy vault to run through the patent pending Who Buddy money cleaning COVID-19 process. So as we run into the vault, aka the bathroom here, we're going to lay out our money, and then we're going to spray it down with our patent pending cleaning solution. And we are good to go. We have now got clean money, COVID free since '93. All right, folks, we just completed the deal and now we are back at it here. We're getting ready to do a little work more on the van, do some outdoor activities, get her done, son. So we're gonna jump back on the van here before I get along and tell you a little bit about the things I have done on the van. I had replaced the wheels. I'm not the wheels, but the tires, put on some Michelins on there. There was a small leak around the windshield that I repaired a leak on the roof. So I have put a little bit of money in there, but I just want to find something more reliable. I'm going to sell this one, then I'll probably look at the Ram ProMaster, maybe the Ford Transit, but I'm leaning more towards the Ram ProMaster. So if you have any info on the ProMaster versus the Ford Transit, let me know. The reason why I'm moving away from the Mercedes, I like the looks of the Mercedes. I like the way it drives. I drove the ProMaster, and I actually prefer how the Mercedes actually drives and rides, and then how you kind of look through the front window better. But the reason why I'm going away from the Mercedes is just the diesel issues that are associated with it, with the new models and the new emission standards. So I want to get to something that's also a little bit lower cost, a little bit smaller, because this thing is a freaking monstrosity to drive, which would work out good for somebody. So if you're looking to convert a camper or a van into a camper, or if it's some sort of like church or somebody needs a haul a bunch of people to and from a place, this is the van for you. Unfortunately for me, I should have done things a little bit more different on the research side, but it is what it is at this point. I'm going to sell it at the cost that I have in it and then move on to another one. So things that I've learned from the auction. Would I buy something or a vehicle at an auction again? I'm still debating that. Things that I should have done up front is hit the website the day before. They usually list everything that's going to be on the docket or on the auction list. You can pull those, go ahead and look to see if there's any Carfax report. This one here had been wrecked, so I'd have been able to see that beforehand. So you can pull that kind of information. And then when you get there, there's some checks and stuff that you can do as you go there. I don't know if this particular auction had it, but if I was smart, I would have taken it directly from the auction over to a mechanic that I trusted and said, "Hey, look, go through it. Tell me what you think or what's the problems on it." In the end, I think I'd rather buy from an individual that has a little bit more information on it than just buying it from the auction, because usually, people, sell cars at an auction for a reason. But I don't know whether I would completely say, I give up. There's probably a lot of people watching right now saying, of course you check the Carfax, and of course you go through these standard checks and all that stuff. What kind of a bonehead does something like this? Well, I found that a lot of times I learned best just by getting in, doing it, and making the mistakes. So this was not really a huge mistake. I'm going to be able to get recoup some of the money that I've got into it. Might have to take a little bit of loss on it, but that's okay. I've learned a ton of lessons on this. It's what they call in trading, stocks, paying tuition to the market. Well, this is my tuition to the market. So I've learned a ton about it. I'm going to be able to take this on to the next deals, and I learned a lot of stuff that I can pass on to people like you to let you know, hey, look, if you're going to an auction, you're buying a vehicle, look at the vehicles the day before on the website, go off and pull the Carfax reports, have your detailed checks, and do your research online of these are the 5 things that you need to go look at, whether it's emission issues or this or whatever it is. Just have that bullet list and you're ready to roll. I showed up and I knew that day that I was coming home with something, so that's why I ended up with the van, because I spent 40 years of my life talking about, hey, I like to do this and I like to do this. Now I'm going to do stuff, and I'm going to make sure I do it in a way to where I have a ceiling on what I could actually lose, but I will learn the lessons, and then I'm actually getting stuff in plan, get these plans in place, and then actually doing stuff instead of just sitting around talking about it and being the guy that says he's always going to do something. So learn some lessons. You got to roll with it whenever you make mistakes, folks, and just keep on hustling. All right, folks, I'm getting ready to do something that I absolutely hate. It is going to be washing and maybe waxing the van. I hate washing cars. I haven't washed my other car in 10 years. I've never washed it since I've had it. This is my original hustle. I started out washing and detailing cars back in high school and college. I washed hundreds of cars, made good money doing it, but I hate washing cars now. So if my boy Dan Dietrich is possibly watching this, let's see if I still got it, bud. All right, folks, we have the other side completely washed. It looks amazing. We might hit it with some wax. I'm definitely hitting this side with some wax. I've got everything set up. I've got the pressure washer ready to roll, and we're gonna get it done. Are we gonna get it done before it gets dark? I'm very concerned, because I need to get this done today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this done before it gets dark, because if it gets dark, then that means I'm going to have to complete it tomorrow, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. I'm really trying to make this a little bit more exciting to the fact that I'm just washing a van. Anyway, getting this thing cleaned up. I'm going to get it ready to sell. Other side's washed. Going to wash this side and then see how the wax turns out. Want to do some before and after pictures. Actually, I'm just going to do after pictures and get everything ready to list, and then hopefully get this thing on Facebook Marketplace and get it to the right home so I can get it offloaded and then get the next ride, because I'll try to head up to Kentucky maybe in later part of June. So that'll be an exciting little trip up there. Get a little auctions up there, get a little auto parts going on up there. So it should be a cool event. So rock and roll, brother. All right, I'm gonna take a small pause here. I don't know if you can see the difference or not, but I'm just using turtle wax. Look at the front compared to the next panel there. See if I can get a couple of shots here, but this thing looks like freaking a completely different ride from there to where I haven't put it. So I mean, just check out the difference. You know, I mean, obviously, yeah, it's waxed, but I mean, it's so dull on the other areas, or the areas where I hit with the compound, taking out some of the scratches. It just looks a ton better. And I mean, I'm gonna spend probably, you know, a couple hours doing this, but yeah, check out the top too. I was wondering how high I was gonna actually go up. I was thinking about just going to the one seam. It makes such a drastic difference that I'm gonna do it all the way down. So it's turned out pretty good. I'm gonna keep working on it. Sun's starting to set. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it all done today, but I'll at least get this one side done and maybe half of the other side. But man, you can tell it right there. Like the difference between that panel and this panel up here is just remarkable. So I'm gonna keep working on it, and then hopefully maybe this will give me a couple extra bucks whenever I sell it. All right, folks, we are done with one side. This is what the other side looks like before it gets done. So I don't know if it can like do it justice or not to see what the difference is, but check out how dull this side especially is up at the top. And then we're gonna go around to the other side so you can see what it's going to look like after. So like my dad said, there's nothing nicer than a freshly waxed black car, but that thing looks sharp. So from end to end, it looks pretty good. Got the tires all armor-alled up. So now just gonna finish up the other side just like this one. Got roughly maybe about an hour and a half left. So I might be able to get part of it done. Probably won't get it all done, but I will be able to list it tomorrow. That's the goal. Get it done so I can list it tomorrow. So hopefully you guys can see it. Looking good. Somebody's gonna get a nice shined up ride once I get done. So see ya. Take two. All right, guys. Now I'm gonna try to dress up all the whatever what that's called. Take three. All right, guys. Now I'm gonna dress up all the molding around the sides. I bought some stuff. This is what they recommended over to Riley's. Just gonna spray it on, see what happens. So hopefully it does not mess up the wax job that I just did. Hopefully it does not. I'm gonna be ticked if it does. They said it wouldn't, but I'm ticked if it was. So let me go on a little tangent here. Pretty much everything you will see in my videos is stuff that I either got reselling, got on Curb-A-Latch or whatever. Everything from this chair to the van that you see behind me is everything that I've got. Like the van, the chair, a curb alert. The van, money that I made reselling, the profits for that. Well, it's not the profits. I reinvested in the business. So my point here is like everybody says like, oh, you know, you can't afford to, like I thought like I'll never have a Sprinter or whatever. Well, I got one. How did I get it? Working at night from like whenever I get off, like around 6:30 or 7 to midnight, listing stuff day in and day out and making enough money to be able to buy something like that. And you know, it can be done. You know, it takes a year or 2 years or whatever, but I mean, set some goals, start hustling, and you can get stuff like this. And then it starts kind of broadening your perspective, right? So like you might think like, well, something's expensive. Well, go find a way to make the money to be able to do what you want to do, right? Don't expend like excessively, but if you have something you want to do and it makes sense, get out, hustle, and then go make the money to do it. It's possible. It's not easy. It ain't easy. You know, working till midnight, processing videos, shipping stuff at midnight. That stuff ain't easy, but I've got a lot now. I've got the Sprinter, which I'm going to trade in and get a different vehicle so I can continue running the business and expanding. And my goal here this year is to buy another piece of real estate from the income and revenue that I'm getting through the businesses. So it is not easy. It is possible. I've talked about stuff for years. You know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Well, guess what? I'm doing it now. I'm going to find a way to do it. If you put your mind to it, and it sounds like some Tony Robbins or some Gary V BS or whatever, but if you put your mind to it and you start working, you're going to screw up. That's first. You're going to do dumb stuff. Eventually, you're going to find your niche, and eventually, you're going to start making some cash. And it is not going to be easy, but if you hustle, it's possible. So, anyway, back to the spray thing. Sorry for the tangent. And how much can you do with one can of this? You can do an entire Sprinter van. That's about all this thing's got. Hey guys, it's me again. I am inside the van now. We're pretty much almost all done except for the final detailing of the interior, which shouldn't take too long. If it sounds noisy in here, I've got the van running and then I've got the passenger AC running. And then I've also got the main cockpit AC going as well. So if you ever wondered how loud the AC is inside one of these things as it's running, it's about this loud. So I'd like to go through and talk to kind of like why I like the Sprinter over the other vans. I know sounds crazy because I'm getting ready to probably sell the Sprinter and go buy one of these other vans, but if I could get one of these where maybe it wasn't a diesel and the parts weren't so hard to get, and when you get them serviced, you don't have to go to a specific dealership to get everything because all the parts are coded to the actual car itself. I might do it, but it's just too expensive for me to on the upkeep side. But these are phenomenal vans. I mean, I think they look the best out of the ones available. I think that the options available on these vans are probably superior to the other ones. I mean, that's debatable. I know the Ram's got a little bit wider size, but I mean, the height in this one is just as good. The depth in this one, I think, might be deeper or longer than all the rest of them. But enough blabbing here. Let's kind of go through this is the passenger van version of the Sprinter 2500 Mercedes-Benz van. So as I mentioned before, one of the reasons why I picked this one is the AC is already installed. I was hoping to turn this into a camper van plus haul in my stuff van, but the mileage is probably going to shoot that down. I'm going to put it up on the market, but the AC is exactly what I wanted. The problem is I'm probably going to have to go with the conversion van. So I'm going to have to get that aftermarket installed. So maybe it's not a big deal, maybe it is, but this one's got it, it has it, and it is phenomenal. The AC on these things works great. Like, it'll freeze you out in the back. I mean, they work fantastic. The air distribution is great as far as how they have it here in the passenger van. You'll upgrade it and do whatever you want to if you're converting it into a camper van. The other great thing that I liked about these over the conversion van is you can see literally everything in these things. The windows and stuff are just fantastic. They're incredibly dark tinted, so nobody can see in, but you can see everything. Like if I'm backing up, I can see everything that's going on around me. So I really love that. This one has 3 rows of 3 seats, and then in the back it's got the 4th row that has the 4 seats in it. So you can fit not only, like your whole family in there, you literally can fit the whole family. Aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandpas, you can fit your dog in here, you can fit your dog's aunt in here. This thing is monstrous. That is also one of the pullbacks on why that I want to get rid of it, because I plan on stripping this thing down and using it maybe like 1 or 2 rows of the bench seats. So, where am I going to do and store the other seats that I'm not going to be using while I'm on the road doing my thing? So let me take you back and show you just how great this thing is. So you got all the seats in here, which I'd probably pull them out. It gets a lot quieter, you notice, as we get further away from it. But look how big the space is that you have in additional. I mean, you got more than a trunk of a car in here. that you can actually store stuff in. So I mean, this thing's great. This is exactly what I was wanting to get. Once again, the miles and the price of the replacement parts is what's going to kill it. I had to replace one relay on this thing that was gone out because of the fuel pump. It cost me $1,000. So, you know, that's really kind of driving the decision to get this out with the high miles and the replacement parts and I mean, somebody's going to get this thing and get a great car out of it, because the thing still drives, you know, very well. It's 2014. I just need something with that's going to be a little bit less costly on the upkeep. So let me tell you a little bit. I'm going to flip around the camera here, so pause for 1 second. Here's the other thing that sells me on this right here. The cockpit on this thing just looks so much cooler and is a lot easier to get around in than in the other models. The other thing is on the conversion vans, you see the transition down I mean, it's pretty much flush, where they have like a step that you're going to step up and step down from the conversion van. I mean, if you're redoing it, turning it into a camper van, it's just something you have to work with. But as far as like the way everything's set up, the other thing that I liked, I drove the Ram ProMaster. It seemed like that the top of the windshield was a little bit more scrunched down, so it was like looking out and viewing. Maybe it was just the fact that I didn't have the extra windows in there and it just seemed that way. But I mean, you get a huge amount of view out of this thing. So I mean, you can see everything. The other thing that I love about this van is it turns amazing. Like, the turning radius on this thing is crazy. I mean, it's almost like you forget that you're driving, which is kind of scary sometimes, but it's almost like you forget you're driving this monstrous beast up and down the road. So, but everything else, you know, like, I love the way the seats are. I love the way the dash is laid out. Just being a Mercedes is cool. You know, I know that, you know, some people are like, eh, whatever. But I mean, it's got a little cool factor to it. So it's a really cool van. I like it. You know, now that I got everything cleaned up, I'm like, do I really want to sell it? Do I really want to sell it? Unfortunately, the answer for me in my situation is probably yes. But whoever's going to get this is going to get a great van. So let me flip back around. Okay, so I know I keep saying like great stuff about this thing. You're like, well, it's so great. Why are you selling it? You know, it's just how things are going to play out for me. I still, like, if I could get this one in the price point that I need to get one at and get it with the mileage and the features I need, I'd be all over it, but I can't afford the upkeep. So one thing, I talked to a lot of mechanics on this. So there's like a period of like 2008 where these things didn't have a lot of the diesel particulate issues that they had. Then they hit the 2008, switched over to the new systems, and now they've just got a lot more issues. I mean, there's ways around it, ways to work with it, but it's more than I want to get involved with. I need something that I can rely on, get going, and I want to hit on Friday afternoon, get off work, and then hit the family, tell them to get in the van, and then let's go hit some, maybe some state parks or do something like that, or just go out and have some fun. And while I'm out there, I'm going to pick some tools and I'm going to pick some stuff up that I can resell. So other things, like I said, you sit very high in this thing. It feels like a monster truck. I love that. And the other thing that I really don't like about this van is it's black and it's Florida, so it is hot. Whenever I had the insulation out, whenever I was redoing the headliners, man, it was a beast in here. I mean, even with the ACs going. So I want to get a different color. But I will tell you, like, when I was waxing this thing, people were stopping, like, walking their dogs. I was like, man, that thing's cool. That thing's huge. You know, I mean, it makes a statement. You know, it looks nice. It looks great. I think in like the Nissan version, that thing looks like the dog or the Shaggin' Wagon off of Dumb and Dumber. But the Ram, you know, that seems to be the way I'm leaning. I'm gonna go drive the Ford Transit, see how it runs. I noticed Amazon's using a lot of Transit, so I'm gonna do a lot of research on it. So I'll kind of walk you guys through the process. If you got any knowledge on this stuff, drop it down in the comments, because I would love some feedback, some people that's actually had them. I've had this one for about a year now, and it's turned out well for me. I'm still driving, like, ever since the COVID, I went and parked my other car on the lot. I've been driving this as a daily driver every day, you know, going to the post office, going here, there, and the thing drove great. So no complaints from me on this side. It's just, you know, if something does break, I can't afford to have that expensive of repairs. So I'm going to try to get something a little bit easier, but maybe I can even work on myself. So anyway, that's it. I hope you liked everything that you saw here. I'm going to do, next spot will be detailing out the inside, and then I'm going to take it up to the parking lot, grab some pictures, and then throw this thing on Facebook Marketplace. Still kind of on the fence on what I'm gonna ask for price, but I'll figure it out. So away we go. All right, folks, we are now inside the van for final preparations. I am going to be going through the van, detailing it out. Not sure how exciting this will be. I might just fast forward through all of it, but this is the last step of the process. I have to do two things: detail out the inside and then fix the headliner. So let's see how it goes. Alright folks, so we are done now cleaning out the inside. Everything looks pretty good. I'm going to do a little bit more in the front here, but first, and this is going to be probably the last step that I'll be showing you guys, is I'm going to fix the ceiling. I went and picked up these clips from O'Reilly's, so it should be a pretty easy install. I've already tried those out. I got the entire ceiling redone in here because there were some water spots from the AC and some of the other areas. All that's been fixed now, repaired, and now I'm just going to install the very final clips on here, and then everything's good to go. Then final pictures, then get this thing online, and we go from there. So if you join me up, we'll fix it. All right, so all are plugged in. Wish me luck. Oh, boom, done.